Hi friends, myself Dr. Sujit. I am a wellness consultant and a naturopathy physician. Today, we are going to talk an interesting topic. In 2010, India had 30 million diabetic people. In 2030, according to the statistics, it's going to be 70 million, more than double. So my question is whether the path we are going is correct or not. If the path is wrong, why can't we shift the path? Let me tell you seriously and evidence-based medicine. Diabetes, if you look diabetes as a disease of sugar, you are not going to get out of that. Sugar, I'm not talking about the white sugar which you put in the tea, etc. I'm going to talk to you about the glucose which is giving you energy, the energy fuel of human body. How can diabetes be connected with glucose? Is it the disease of glucose? You check random glucose, postprandial glucose, etc. Is it the disease of glucose? Never. Glucose is an energy giving product. How can it create a culprit for you? What is the real culprit, or what is the problem of diabetes? As we heard of, diabetes is a disease of insulin, the hormone which is produced from the pancreas. Even the classification of diabetes is according to insulin only. Type 1 diabetes, where insulin cannot be produced. Type 2 diabetes, where insulin cannot be utilized, or non-insulin dependent diabetes. There itself it is saying there is no need of depending on insulin. It is not the deficiency of the insulin, it is the malfunctioning or disutilization of insulin. Type 1 diabetes, I am not going to talk about type 1 diabetes because diabetologists are doing good wonders for treating type 1 diabetic. I am going to talk about type 2 diabetes which occurs after 30 years of age, non-insulin dependent diabetes. In type 2 diabetes, insulin is produced abundantly during the first period. As the progresses, the insulin decreases. But we don't test the insulin. We test the fasting blood sugar, random blood sugar, postprandial blood sugar, maximum HbA1c or glycosylated hemoglobin of 3 months ratio. That's it, finish. We all beat around the bush of glucose or sugar level. We don't look at the insulin. Had anyone checked the insulin in the blood? Yes, I am talking the blood insulin. You can test it. Every lab has the proficiency for it. But nobody prescribe it or nobody goes to the test also. I will tell you the different stages of diabetes. Come, whiteboard session. A lot of people ask to me, Dr. Sujit, I don't have diabetic at all because my fasting blood sugar level I have tested and my postprandial blood sugar level or random blood sugar after food I have tested. After food, my sugar level is lower than the fasting blood sugar. I will not get diabetic. My dear friend, you are going to get diabetic within 6 months. I'll tell you. Because these are the whiteboard section I'm going to give you is exclusively for you, the 3 categories I have written: sugar, insulin, triglyceride. In stage 1, all this whiteboard session is going to be of type 2 diabetic or the diabetic which occurs after 30 years of age. Okay, non-insulin dependent diabetes. In non-insulin dependent diabetes or type 2 diabetes, in stage 1, you cannot identify stage 1 diabetic only with sugar, because in stage 1 of type 2 diabetic, your sugar will be low. So how can you diagnose it? You say, my sugar level is low, I don't have diabetic at all. You're happy. But if you test the insulin at that time, your insulin will be high. Your triglyceride will be also high. This is interesting. In the second stage of diabetic, your sugar starts to increase. This is the time you diagnose that you have diabetic. And your insulin will be also high at that time. But unfortunately, nobody tests this area. Your triglyceride will be also high. This area is the area where most of the people diagnose diabetic. But if it was stage 1, without even the medication also, by dietary intervention and exercise, you could have reversed that state. Stage 2 is also possible with a little nutrients, strict nutrient, dietary nutrients, dietary exercises, etc., with intervention of a holistic department, you can recover from the stage 2 also. But once you shift to stage 3, your sugar is very high, your insulin goes down. This is danger. This is danger. And triglyceride also goes high. You start to take medication for cholesterol, you start to take medication for a diabetic, you start to inject the insulin because your body starts to decrease the production of insulin. And in the stage 4, you depend highly on insulin because your sugar level is very high. You know another name of insulin? Storage hormone. Whatever you take, it's converted to fat and stored. The conversion of sugar to triglyceride by insulin is a real culprit of this. So, than treating the symptoms, as I always say, treat the root cause, correct it in a perfect wellness regimen. Come back to health.